Hi, my name is Mike Lockett, and I am a storyteller. But do you know what? For years before I became a storyteller, I was a teacher. And I used to always tell students, read, read, read. I love to read books. I hope you like to read books. And one of my favorite places to go is to the public library. Now, once upon a time, there was a little girl who liked to read. Now, she went to the public library in the middle of town, and for her, that was quite an event. You see, she lived a couple of miles from town. She lived out on a farm, and she loved library day. Her dad would take her to the library and drop her off. She would walk up the big steps out in front of the library. She would look up at the giant library doors. They were so big, I don't know how she could even open them, but they were so well balanced that she would reach up, grab a hold of the handle, and the door would easily come open for her. She would walk into the library and she would look from shelf to shelf, section to section, until she would find the perfect book. She would take the book up to the circulation desk. That's what the desk is called, where they check out the books. She would lay the book up on the desk, and the librarian would open it. She would take the girl's library card. She would look at the card. She would look at the book. She would put a stamp in the book, telling the little girl when she needed to bring it back. And she would close the book, and the little girl would say, "Thank you," because she always remembered her manners. She would take the book back to the farm where she lived. And there on the farm, she would sit out by the little pond. That was her favorite place to read. Why, there was a log sitting next to the pond. And the little girl would go ahead and sit on the log. She would start to read her book, and very soon, lots of little birds would come and land on the log or on the branches of trees around to go ahead and listen to her read. The turkeys would come and listen to her read. The chickens, they came to listen to her read. The cows, the sheep, the horses, all of the farm animals came to listen to the little girl read. They loved reading. But one day, something terribly sad happened. Oh, it was awful. The little girl fell, and she broke her leg. Her daddy and mommy said, "I'm sorry, you cannot go to the library for the rest of the summer. It is too hard for you to climb the steps with a great big cast on your leg." The little girl felt so bad. But not only did the little girl feel bad, all of the animals felt bad. Why, the chicken one day was going, "Buck, buck, buck." It was asking the little girl why she wasn't reading a book. That's when the little girl got an idea. She talked to the chicken, and she talked to it, and finally she got the little chicken so the chicken would go to the library. Now, it would fly part of the way, but chickens don't fly very well. It would fly, it would hop, it would walk, it would go to the library, it would go up those steps, it would take its beak and peck, 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 peck. It would knock at that library door until somebody would open the big library door, and the chicken would go right in. Now the chicken, it would look at all of the books until it would find just the right book. And then it would pick up the book and put it under its wing, hop over to the librarian's desk, hop up on the desk, and drop the book. And the librarian would say, "Book?" And the chicken would say, "Book!" Oh, the librarian would stamp it, and then the chicken would say, "Book, book!" That was his way of saying thank you. And he would put the book under his wing, take the book, and away he would go flying on home. Oh, the little girl loved it, and so did all of the animals. The animals thought it was great because the little girl could sit and read to them all. Week after week during the summer, that chicken would bring home books. But one day, the chicken brought home a book that all of the animals had already heard. The little girl had already read the book. And she says, "Honey, I want you to take the book back to the library and get me another one." No, we've read this book. Take it back to the library, please, and get me a different one. Well, the chicken did try. He took the book back and said, "Book!" to the librarian, and she says, "I already gave you the book. The book is not due." No, honey, the book is not due yet. You don't have to bring it back," said the librarian. But the librarian could not understand. The little girl thought. And she talked to the frog. Now they had a little frog, and Frog absolutely loved to share the books too. And one day, the chicken tried to take the book back, and Frog went with it. He rode right on Chicken's back, and when Chicken said, "Book!" and the librarian said, "We already gave you a book," then Frog helped, because Frog said, "Read it, read it, read it." Oh, and the librarian gave the chicken a different book, and they all read happily ever after. And you can read happily ever after too, like the chicken in the library. If you go to the public library and you check out books. And do you know what? If you have already read it, that's okay, because it's fun to reread books too. That is a story called The Chicken in the Library.